you guys can hear me. If not, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just on my phone. What can I say? But so we're talking about Superman Legacy today because the cast photo came out for Superman Legacy today, and it looks fine. Like, I don't understand all this. Like, listen, if the movie comes out and you have a legitimate gripe with it, and if I have, and I'm going to share in just a minute a legitimate concern that I have about Superman Legacy, okay? And some of you are going to agree with me. Actually, a lot of you are probably going to agree with me on this. I'm sure there'll be somebody who doesn't, but like, especially Snyder fans, I'm sure you're going to agree with me probably on this. But here's the thing. I don't understand that a photo comes out and everybody's like, oh, it looks like Superman cast from Wish. There are a lot of great actors in this movie. Why are Superman fans or DC fans at all, and get out of here with all that BS, who's a real super DC fan? Who cares? If you are a DC fan at all, why would you want the characters that you love to be publicly embarrassed, humiliated, and flop? I don't care who's directing the freaking movie. I don't care who wrote the freaking movie. If it's a good movie, just enjoy it. If there's something that you don't like about it, report that. But right now, there is absolutely no reason to be hating on Superman Legacy other than you just don't like James Gunn and you're just stubborn and you're just being a jerk. Like, exactly, Anthony. I don't understand. By the way, Ben, it's good to see you. I can't wait to talk to you again. I don't understand this thing of like, you're like, well, Zack Snyder's not doing it. We just want the whole thing to fail. Listen, I love Zack Snyder. I love his interpretation of these characters. What's up, Nerd Cosa Nostra? Good to see you, buddy. I love these characters. But why are we acting like a bunch of 12-year-olds? And I say that because I've worked in a middle school and I've been around 12 and 13-year-olds all day, and they have this same kind of mentality. They have the same kind of mentality. All or nothing. If I don't get my way, I'm entitled to what I want. If I don't get my way, listen, this is totally different than the Snyder Cut. This is totally different than that. Pushing for the Snyder Cut, there were people. There was a reason. There was a legitimacy to it. Somebody was wrong. I mean, Zach was wronged, right? And then you had on top of that, when you bring in the fact of what happened with Autumn and everything, that's why the fandom came together. That's what we were together to begin with for. And it was like a snowball, just kept dragging more people into it. And it was good, and it was right. And right now, I'm sorry, but all these people wanting it to fail, you know what you're showing me? You know what you're showing the world? That you really don't care about the thing. You just care about getting your way. And that's not a good place to start. It's a very selfish thing right now, and it just doesn't make any sense. This cast photo is fine. David Cornsweet looks great. Yeah, does he look like Henry Cavill? Yes. He looks like a younger version of Henry Cavill. And if that's the story that they're telling right now, that this is a story that, is not set, obviously, within the DC EU, right? Cool, Jared. So it's obviously not set in the DC EU, so it's a new thing. Now, I totally agree. They should have just wiped the slate clean. Nobody should be in there anymore. If you were in the DC EU, you shouldn't be as that character in the new DCU. But I think you can make an argument, though, even then, because of multiverse stuff, that you can get away with it, but I would rather them not. I would have rather James Gunn and David Safran just wiped the slate clean, got rid of everybody that wasn't a thing, okay? But then you got all the people who are like, yeah, but James Gunn only hires the people that he likes. So does Zack Snyder. How many people are in all of Zack Snyder's movies? And we love it. When Ray Fisher is in Rebel Moon, we all lose our minds because we're like, yes, Zack is taking care of our boy. And you know what? That's awesome. Right? When we saw Ray Porter Gosh, man, when I see my buddy Ray Porter in Rebel Moon, and he has this classic moment, man, it's a brilliant thing. It's an awesome thing. I'm not sitting around going, Zach is always trying to put Ray Fisher and Ray Porter in his movies and this person and that person. I get it. It's not what we wanted. But it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. That's my rant for that. Now, the photo itself, I mean, it's cool. It looks like they're having fun. The movie could flop. The movie could do well. I don't know. You don't know. Everybody just harping on this movie just to be negative. You really miss the point of superheroes altogether, don't you? You miss the point of a Superman altogether when you don't understand treating people with respect. I mean, there are actors and actresses now in this movie that are just being treated poorly by people who claim that they love these characters, and yet acting in ways that, to me, is just sickening. But of course, that's the internet nowadays, right? I mean, that's what happens sometimes. But I want Superman Legacy to do well. I want it to be good. Yes, I do like the Dean King Superman. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. And Anthony, you bring up my next point, okay? So, Eve Tessmacher, I don't have so much of an issue with them using Eve Tessmacher, because Eve Tessmacher, yes, she was introduced in Superman the movie, but the character of Eve Tessmacher has been reused, okay, and is in a lot of different media. This Otis thing, I know Otis has shown up and stuff, but the Otis thing concerns me. When I saw that today, I don't know how to feel about that. But again, yeah, Anthony, I don't mind the character. See, the Eve Tessmacher thing, the sun's in my eyes, by the way, if you can't tell, not just, shining brightly my own facial features. No, the Eve Tessmacher thing, like, I feel like you could still get a serious film out of that with an Eve Tessmacher. I'm concerned how much Otis plays into this. Because Otis is, I mean, at least in Superman the movie, unless they bring him back for something else, but it didn't really look like that's what they're going to do. It's comedy relief, right? I mean, it is. Right, Anthony. It's a Lex Luthor henchman. Now, they could either make that, in a legitimate way, or they could make it really silly. And the thing is the character of Otis, and Anthony, you tell me how you feel. I mean, thinking about this when you break it down. The character of Otis with a director like James Gunn and a writer like James Gunn, okay, I'm really hoping that James uses this as an opportunity to give us both a modern and a classic Superman, a nice mix between the two, right? And I'm fine with a little bit of humor and some lightness in there, but I do want it to have it doesn't have to be real and like super serious, but I do want it to have just I don't want it to be a joke. I'm so sick of DC and the things I love being referred to as jokes, that bothers me. Okay, so I'm going to get to a couple of these questions here or comments. First of all, Draga, what's up, Draga? Hey, you know what? First of all, Draga, I can't bring your your thing up on the screen because I'm not using a streamer. I'm just going directly through YouTube. But Draga, thank you so much for the $5 Australian super chat. That is the first super chat that I have read in almost a year. So thank you, man, because I haven't streamed much. But he says, hey, Enosh, it's been a while, and I'd love to discuss with you about the new DC movies in a good way. Hope you're doing well. I am, man. I'm doing really well. Thank you so much. Yeah, and we're going to get back into this, man. We're getting back into this. Obviously, I'm doing this right now. We're going to have a lot of like driving videos here coming up because I got a little bit of a drive. Been a while, Enosh. Glad you're doing well. Thank you so much. Who was that? That was Darkness. What's up, Darkness? Ted Clubber Lang says I'm more effing mad that Jonah Hill was cast as Super. That's funny. That's hilarious. Hunter says. Poindexter, quick question. Do you think Superman Legacy is prequel to Kingdom Come? So that is a legitimate question, right? So that is a very interesting thing because can we just point out too that like look, just because they used the Superman symbol for Kingdom Come doesn't necessarily they used it for the table read. Apparently that was what was on the table when they were doing the table read of the script. So you realize, though, that doesn't mean that that's necessarily the logo, right? I mean, I would hope that we would understand that that's not necessarily the logo that they're going. I mean, and here, I'm going to answer some more. So I can do that safely now. Oh, Benson, what's up? Wow, there is a name I haven't seen in a long time. What's up, Mark? How you doing, man? I want a Superman movie, not a Superman and Friends. I do not think James Gunn's director style suits Superman. Will he take Kal-El seriously? So yes. What was that? Well, what is their first super on a live stream? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Benson. So no, I absolutely agree with you, Mark. Like, I really hope that they take it seriously. You know, I want to see him take Kal-El seriously. I don't, and I understand, and see, that is a legitimate concern, right? When people talk about James Gunn, if you're talking about James Gunn and you're saying, hey, I have a concern with his directing style and his writing style and how that will match up with Superman, that's legitimate. That's a conversation. And what do we always say here at the Poindexter Lounge? When I stream. we say, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell anybody that their fandom doesn't matter, right? But seek to have good conversations, right? So to say that is legitimate, right? And here, why are RC9? I think Arc 9. Why Arc 9? Maybe Arc 9. Hey Daniel. So yes, humor is needed. I think in some superhero movies, it does, but it doesn't have to like dominate it. You know what I mean? The humor doesn't have to be lowbrow. It doesn't have to dominate the film, and it doesn't have to be like one of the things about some Marvel movies in the last few years that have kind of, and I'll be honest with you, the last couple Guardians movies. I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The next two, there's just moments where I feel like I'm just getting, and there's a lot of Marvel movies where I feel like I'm getting slapped upside the head with one joke after another, and I can't ever like just enjoy the film. You know what I mean? I got Thor over here doing a bunch of silliness, and I can't just enjoy the fact that Thor is amazing on his own, right? Right, Bob. Bob Marshall just put it exactly. There needs to be a balance. There just has to be a balance, right? And so that's the thing. And going back to Mark's, statement, I agree with that to a point. I'm willing to give James a chance, the benefit of the doubt. If I don't like it, I'm going to say so, right? I mean, I'm going to report that. I'm going to tell you what I don't like about it. Like I said, even this Otis thing, I'm a little concerned about the Otis thing. Right? The Superman and Lois version of Otis was legit. He was dumb, but also very useful. He wasn't comic relief like he was in the 78 film. That's a good point, Bob. I didn't really like Otis there either. You know what I mean? Like, I love the original Otis for that movie. I didn't really like Otis for Superman and Lois, but I have issues with Superman and Lois as a show. I enjoy it. I like it, but it's just not my favorite Superman property. Like everybody flipping out that it's getting canceled. Can we stop with all this false like outrage, please? this false outrage over every little thing that, like, if Warner Brothers gets up in the morning and farts, everybody starts losing it, and acting like they're outraged by the fact that, something would happen. Can we just stop that with the fake outrage? There's something, Anthony, about every season of Lois and Superman that I've liked. I don't like Tyler. I don't like Tyler in the casting. There's sometimes that he does a really great job, and there's other times that, like, I think it's the costume. I really, really feel that if they legitimately gave him a good costume, he would look great. He'd probably do really well. But his costume is just ridiculously over the top most of the time. Although I don't like that Warner Brothers do not want to have another Superman competing in the market is ridiculous. So Anthony, let me play devil's advocate on that, okay? Because I get it. Yeah, I think that I understand the idea of not having a lot of different versions, especially live action. You know what I mean? Like, have animation, have different things. But maybe you don't want both a movie series and a TV show live action going on at the same time. Now, hey, I'm here now. I'm here now, right? So, I want to come back to that Kingdom Come comment. Yeah. So, but what was I saying there for a second? I'm sorry. Talking about Tyler. Having two live versions of live action versions of the same thing, right? It's kind of redundant, isn't it? I mean, I know we want all the stories we could possibly get, but isn't it kind of redundant to have both a TV show and a movie going at the same time? I feel like Superman and Lois, it it uh, it played out. The show played out. It was what it was. It moved on, and I think we all just need to move on from Superman and Lois, from the CW, from all those CW shows. I mean, it was a period of time. It's come to a close. Let's end it. Let's move on. And see what's next. And that's the beauty about these properties, is that it doesn't it doesn't have to be just my way or your way, and that's it. I do like the idea, though, that I've heard about Brandon Routh possibly doing a show, well, them pitching a show, or them, like, talking about it, I guess. What is this? Leonidas? Hopefully I got that right. The Snyder fans have to stop crying for 4 years. Get over it. They look like spoiled and tantrum children. Okay, so I will say this. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I think that both sides of this argument need to stop talking about each other the way that they do, right? I'm sorry, but, like, as somebody who tries to be a rational human being, yet at the same time loves Snyder's universe, I don't need to be at odds with you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to come in all hot and heavy and be like, guns sucks, and everybody who loves guns sucks, and now you're a cult, and you're a cult, and you're a cult. You get a cult, and you get a cult, and you get a cult. Like, it's, oh my gosh, it's so over the top and just ridiculous. We got to treat each other with respect. We I know it's anger towards WB, but the thing is like, now we got people mad about stuff that doesn't even make any sense. I mean, they're blaming James Gunn for literally every possible bad thing that they could think of that would happen. Right? The Film Goblin, you know what? Listen, I love Zack Snyder. I love his movies. I've enjoyed his movies. Now, I had some critiques of Rebel Moon that not everybody liked. Look under your chair. You get a cult, right? Like, there were some things about Rebel Moon. I'm sorry. I had some issues with it. Now do I hate it? No. Do I hate Zack Snyder? No. Am I never gonna watch a Zack Snyder movie again? No. Of course I am. Of course I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch part 2 of Rebel Moon when it comes out, and I'm gonna especially watch that unrated or rated R version of Rebel Moon as well, right? And hopefully that's better. Uh, but I like that, Benson. Benson, that's a really good point. Not everybody will get that. See, I like it when you and I are on the same page, man. This is why time is good sometimes between stuff, and people being able to talk stuff. Because man, I like that, Mark. That's a great. Because not everybody knows what Battle Beyond the Stars is, but we know what Battle Beyond the Stars is. So that's great. I love Battle Beyond the Stars. I just felt that Rebel Moon. I don't know. It wasn't compelling to me. I feel that I'm hoping that in the second movie that I get more of a feel for some of the characters, because we were an hour in, and I just kind of the robot was the only character I really cared about at that time. What's up, Ed? Um, you know, but like I say, I'm not saying I hate the movie because I don't. But that's things like, can we just be fair, right? Can we just be fair about stuff? Like, can we just stop putting such hyperbole on everything? And it's like people literally have, when they talk about James Gunn, like they act like James Gunn is personally responsible for everything that they hate in this world, everything. And then the crazy thing is the people who don't like Zach do the exact same thing, and it's like this cross thing that like Snyder fans found an enemy in James Gunn simply to have an enemy, simply to have a face to go after. And I feel like you see some people saying some things about like David Zaslav these days, but the thing is when David Zaslav first took over, he was saying the right things. We all thought that that's where it was going. So I think a lot of people don't really want to go too hard in on him, maybe, because they realize, yeah, we all kind of fell for that one, right? But this James Gunn thing, it's like they talk about, his Suicide Squad movie, right? Well, obviously, I like the first one better, okay? But and that's not even Ayer's version, right? So I wish that I could see Ayer's version to be able to have some idea about what that is. But because I like the theatrical. James Gunn's Suicide Squad, it's fine. It's fine. Why is everybody hating on it? And I don't get this because, even, David Ayer has spoken positively about James Gunn. Zack Snyder has spoken positively about James Gunn. This last week when we had this whole thing about the guy who was supposedly cast in Superman Legacy, and and because of his status on Palestine and everything, and so oh, look, James Gunn, is this horrible person, and then come to find out the guy's like, no, James Gunn's my buddy, man. We hang out. Joe Manganiello this week, right? Everybody was like, oh, look, James Gunn just told him to get over it and let it go and everything, and then if you actually watch the video, Joe's like, yeah, man, no, James is my buddy, and we're good. I just, he had to tell me, look, man, it's probably not going to happen. That's just truth. It doesn't mean that he was a big jerk about it. Obviously, they're still friends, but it's a bunch of people literally who have no idea how any of this works, how these things actually work in real life, and they just want to act like all the actors and actresses and production people and everyone who had anything to do with Zack Snyder's DCEU and the Snyderverse, that they are all just pent up and still upset and raging over the stuff that happened to Zack. I'm sure Zack is not happy that stuff happened to him, obviously, right? But Zack has moved on. Now, yeah, we can backtrack and go, well, Zack could always want to do it, later or whatever. But those are all what ifs. And I'm sorry, but with the way that I see people acting now, there is not anything positive being said about the Snyder fandom. Okay? And here's the problem that I have with that, because I am a fan of Snyder's work. You all know this. But I think it's hilarious because there's people who try to tell me that I'm not a Snyder fan because I'm not in on their thing. I don't need you to tell me whether or not I'm a fan of Snyder. I don't care if you think I am or not. I know what I love. I know what I enjoy. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Right? So, if you are a fan of Snyder's work, stop being an idiot. And if you're a fan of James Gunn, or you're a fan of classic Superman or whatever, and you don't really like Zack Snyder's stuff, stop being a jerk. Leonidas, listen, if you don't like Zack's take, that's fine. I'm not gonna. It is not my job to argue anybody into liking anything. Your opinion, obviously from your comment, is that he's a mediocre director. That can be your opinion. I don't know what your opinion's based off of. I don't know what your experience is to be able to come up with something like that. What I do see is, and so I won't address you specifically. I will address other commenters and posters and people posting online and Facebook and groups and X now and all this stuff, posting all these negative things, acting like they know something that they don't. Right? Acting like the writing is bad in this, but yet they couldn't write their way out of a paper bag if it was wet. You know what I mean? They don't know anything about writing. Right? Well, I didn't like it. Well, that doesn't mean the writing is bad. Sometimes it's user error. And I'm sorry, but I see a lot of people in this world, who don't even pay attention during movies and then try to tell me their opinion afterwards. You know what? If you're talking through the movie, if you're getting up and down and if we're watching a movie at my house and you're walking all over the place and then you act like you didn't like the movie because the movie sucked, no, that's on you because you didn't pay attention. Well, I didn't get that out of the movie. Well, if you would have watched the movie, maybe you would have. Right? Maybe you would have gotten the plot if you had watched it. Maybe you would have understood the character development if you had watched it and paid attention. Right? So, look, everybody's opinion's fine. Opinions are fine. It's when we start like saying all that stuff is fact, and then criticizing others for their opinion. Because I get lumped in with all of these idiots, okay? Because I like that. Because I liked BVS, and I love Man of Steel, and I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, all of a sudden I get lumped in with all these people who are out here doing cyber attacks and hiring bots to do stuff, and yes, they are, okay? And it's like, yeah. No, there's a bunch of shiesty people, but let's not act like it's all just Snyder fans, right? Because there's a bunch of shiesty people in the world, and I'm sorry, there's a lot of people claiming right now to be those types of fans that are doing the thing. But Superman Legacy is going to come out. If you're a Superman fan, why would you want it to fail? I don't understand that. I just don't understand any of that. Why you would want it to fail when it's a Superman movie. And then all the people now, this blows my mind, the Snyder fans that are like, there's too many characters in this movie. It's not even going to be a Superman movie. Wasn't that the same argument that people made about Zack's movies? Did he put too much in it? He put too many characters in it because he introduced the Justice League basically in Batman v Superman. Okay. We're joining a universe. It's already been started. This is not an origin film. So yeah, there are going to be other superheroes. I mean, they're even saying that they're doing some on-location stuff now in Cincinnati where it makes it sound like they may be using, I think it'd be so cool, to use
the building that inspired the Hall of Justice, for the Super Friends. Listen, I don't mind them having stuff that's like Super Friends like, you know, as long as it's not silly and cheesy and stupid. That's what I don't want. I don't want just like a bunch of winks and nods. I want, uh, you know, I just want a good movie. Leonidas just says, nice guy. I just don't understand why there's so much hate towards Gunn. The guy has nothing to do with the end of Snyder's verse. I think all of the hate towards the guy is unnecessary. I agree, 100%. 100%. The only thing I will say is this, and we said it the other day, right? The whole, people have been very upset. I want to be careful what I say so that we don't get the video taken down or something like that. But uh, people are saying all of Wendy Marvin the Wonder Dog. I want Wendy Marvin and Wonder Dog. Give me a really cool version of the Wonder Twins. I'd be down with that too. Uh, what was I saying? Oh my gosh, totally got me off on that, man. You're gonna get me off on the Wonder Twins. Um, oh so the whole thing. I don't have a problem with some nods to those types of things, as long as the whole thing doesn't seem like it's for a 3-year-old. You know, um, I want kids to be excited about Superman again. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um, and I think it's wrong the way that people have acted about James Gunn, except for I get it. Okay, I totally get it because I'm not happy about this either, and that is his tweets and his pictures and things, from years ago. Couple schools of thought on that though, right? Couple of schools of thought, and we said it the other day. He came from trauma, where the humor is very crass, right? It's very trauma's humor. I mean, is it's a bunch of naked people running around. It's mutated, people. It's post-apocalyptic stuff. I mean, it's very much uh, crass in every way, right? But as crass as it is, you also have to think about, yeah, I mean, the Toxic Avenger, right? It's like, right, Leonidas. That's what I'm saying, right? It's like, I don't have to love the guy. I don't have to love everything he's done, And I look at those tweets and stuff, and I'm like, there's people trying to make it out like he's actually doing that stuff. I don't see any proof of that. What it looks like is they threw this party. It was very much in poor taste, which is kind of what that whole thing was. I mean, everything's in poor taste. It's what it is. It's trauma. That's what they're known for, is doing things in poor taste. And so not necessarily like that, but I feel like they did this thing trying to make a statement, and I feel like it was more of a attack on the Catholic Church really than it was anything else. But I get it, right? So if you have an issue with James Gunn because of those photos and because of that, you will not hear a complaint from me. You will not hear me tell you that you cannot feel that way, right? And that's not legitimate, because I will support you 100%. What I see now, though, is people using it just to attack him and just to attack this universe. And that's ridiculous. That's just over the top. It's just anger and confusion, just to be angry and confused, and it doesn't change anything. It doesn't help anything. It's not, you're not changing the world, through this. The hate doesn't have to be, and so I don't understand all the hate for James Gunn either, except for what it's just not Zach, and so people are upset about that, and I understand it to a point. But don't go attacking other people just because it's not Zach. I mean, that's that's ridiculous. That's just silly. I'm trying to look at some of these other. If you had a question in here, I'm sorry. I'm trying to go back through it, but it's hard to tell. Like individual questions, just in the comments here. Film Goblin, your comment here about Snyder not working with Yes Men, there may be a little bit to that because I feel like Rebel Moon had a little bit of Yes Man stuff because some of the effects and some of the things that were in it, but maybe not. I mean, George Lucas suffered from that with Star Wars. So for sure. What did Mark say? Enosh, get them back to Milton Keynes for the United Nations building. I agree, at least for one. So, hey, what's up, RJ? Yeah, so it's like, let that go, like, I mean, move on. Like I said, the Otis thing, I'm a little concerned about. Film Goblin, I'm here, man. That's what I'm here doing, man. Look, you're probably not going to get me back overnights, okay? The whole midnight to 4 a.m. thing, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. That's not going to be something I'm going to do. But I am going to make a point of doing the show again, and I'm going to have to come up with a time where I'm going to be able to do the show. But in kind, also, you're going to get a lot more of these type of videos because going forward, I'm going to have some more time in the car, and so yeah, I definitely want to do that. Let's see. Gunner has alluded that his abused as a child. Oh, come on, so flat out. He has been quoted saying, "Attack with that, and true or not, or you're ruined. He has done this to other people." Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, no, RJ, you're right, and the fact that everybody stood up for him, I mean, like, I think that there's just more story there that we all, people just want to latch onto, and they're looking for that low hanging fruit to make it out that these people are bad people. How do you feel about the Lions blowing the lead to the 49ers? Hey, that sucked. It sucked, man. But I'm a 49ers fan too, so either way, I win. Did I see the wait? I think okay. Mark had something first. Said this movie is going to need the marketing campaign of gigantic proportions. I hope people give it a chance after the way they abandoned the DCU. Yeah, so it is. It's gonna. People are gonna need to know that this movie's coming out, and they're gonna need to see something that gets their attention, right? It's Superman. So it's not just a built-in audience. I mean, there is a built-in audience, but obviously the audience is fractured right now. That's the problem with DC right now, and the way that we're acting. Like, we act like we can't just enjoy stuff at all. Like, we have to literally tear everything and everybody apart all the time. So the audience is split. So this is going to highly rely on good marketing, on the ability to draw the average person in. And I will say this, and I know there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to hear this. Do you know who I hear talking about Superman Legacy? The normies. The normies. People who just go to films, man. They're the ones who are excited about Superman Legacy. So that tells me a lot right there. Artist says, I saw a tweet today saying that Snyder fans should never support any of the actors in the cast photo because they knew that they were effing over people and knew what kind of person Gunn is. Who are they effing over because they sign up on a movie? Again, this false outrage. False outrage. And I'm sorry, but it started with people like over the top talking about stuff that really, at the end of the day, really didn't matter. I'm sorry. If I hear one more person complain, and maybe you all are so worried about it, I am not, but if I hear one more person complain about Wile E. Coyote, none of you, nor I, cared about Wile E. Coyote so much until, oh, we're not going to get to see that movie. I guarantee you, if that movie had just come out, you wouldn't have seen it. I know you're gonna. RJ's gonna be like, I would have seen it. I know RJ would have seen it. I would have seen it. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. People are like this false outrage. I'm so pissed off over the because why do we have to be mad about everything? And it's like I am so mad about this thing with Wile E. Coyote and they're getting rid of the movie and stuff. It's like you're not entitled to see anything. We are not entitled to see any movie. So why the outrage? Why the false outrage? Like everything should not be at the same level. You know, like not being able to see the Wile E. Coyote movie, the versus Acme, movie should not be the most rageful thing that you could possibly do. Well, somebody worked on it. Yes, they did. There's a lot of things that people work on that don't always see the light of day. There's been plenty that I have worked on over the years that has never seen the light of day. Other people, I'm sorry, but everything that gets made does not get published. Do you know how many songs your favorite artist has that you've never heard and never will hear because they've been totally trashed? We should get all of it. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. Everything is not good enough. So there you go. All right, what are you guys talking about with RJ? Triton says, the only people I've seen who are excited for gun stuff is the making anti-Snyder people, except anything DC that's not Snyder, purely because it's not Snyder. What? Triton, I'm excited for Superman Legacy. I'm excited for the new DCU, and I have no idea what you're talking about in that, man. And I love you, bro, but I don't know what you're talking about in that comment. No. The problem is right now, as a Snyder fan, you're a Snyder fan, I'm a Snyder fan. The problem is everything that's out there right now for anybody who's a fan of Zack Snyder is ridiculously biased. They don't care about truth. All they care about in these forums, these groups, I'm in plenty of Facebook groups that have turned so sour in the last few months. Okay? Because all it is about mocking others. It's about laughing at others. It's about hoping things fail. It's about bringing back negativity. It's about like hoping that other people fail, that hoping bad things happen to other people, making photos with people with Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman. I'm sorry, it's the most disgusting thing, and if you support it, you're in the wrong. 100%. I don't know what to tell you. That's just it. If you support that picture of Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, holding on to James Gunn's head. Remember when that came out a couple years ago? James Gunn's head. What are you doing? First of all, it's not that important. It's a movie. It's a series of movies, but it's not that important. And if you think it is, you need to re-examine your life. Because I'm going to tell you all something. There are more important things in life than just griping and complaining about movies or directors or writers or actors that you don't like. There are people going through real life stuff out here. Okay? I know. I just spent the last year of my life going through real life crap. Right? And do you think I gave one crap as to who was directing Superman Legacy when I was facing down like the most tumultuous time of my life? No. Can we act like human beings? I love Superman. You know I love Superman. All of you who watch the show, you know I love Superman. But I'm willing to give other things a chance. Why is it people always go with the severed heads, right? Right. I RJ, that's what I said at the beginning. Miss Tessmacher, not so much because I've seen them do Miss Tessmacher in a serious way. The Otis thing concerns me because Otis as a character is supposed to be comic relief, and I know that we talked about earlier before you got here, RJ, about how he's in uh, Lois and Clark, or Lois and Superman, Superman and Lois, whatever. Uh, yeah, and I really hope that they don't. Yeah, like you, I hope that they don't copy the Superman 78 stuff with Otis and try to make him that way because, oh, that'd be rough. So, anyways, yeah. So those are my concerns, and like I said, I don't understand why people want this stuff to flop. Um, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand why we can't like many different things. You know, like why is it that you either have to love Man of Steel or you have to love Superman 78? I have never understood that. Why can't you just love Superman and realize that there are different ways that Superman has been presented, right? Yeah, and I think that's all I'm saying. Is the Otis thing is just a little bit weird. It's just a little bit weird. Let's see what they do with it. Maybe it'll be great. The thing is like I don't know if I want to see a serious Otis though, right? Like that character is supposed to kind of be comic relief in my mind, but again, everything doesn't have to be for me or the way that I want it. Remember the days where we only had Tyler Superman, and he was constantly getting nerfed on the CW, and you get so annoyed. Yes, I do, Jag. I do remember that Jag Knight because it was absolute BS. I'm hating on Superman that way. But anyways, I'm home. I have Shayna coming over here in just a few. And so, but I have enjoyed this time that we have spent together. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. And I hope that we get many more opportunities to do this and have some panel discussions and, some other people in. Um, but hey, continue to let me know what you guys think. All right. If you're watching this video afterwards, leave comments down in the comment section. If you haven't already, please subscribe because we're trying to, ramp things up again. We're trying to get things going again. And so we need all of that, man. We need your help, obviously, to keep, Poindexter Lounge going strong, So love you all. Always just keep me in your thoughts and prayers, if you would. But yeah, things are going pretty good. Things are things are coming together. All right. So just you all keep your heads up, and let's just. I just wish DC fans would find some common ground. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I just wish that we could find some common ground and just not hate everything. Like it'd be one thing if it was just all like like I'm a DC fan and that's Marvel. I think that's silly too because the companies themselves don't look at themselves that way anymore. And I get it, the fans are always like, you're DC, I'm a Marvel, blah, blah, blah. But, nowadays it doesn't really matter. It matters to some people and they make a big deal about that, but in the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, right? Fighting within DC is even more ridiculous. It's just dumb. It's just really dumb. Um, I want superhero movies, yes, just like was just said right there, Mwamba or Mwamba said RJ. I also still want Marvel to be successful too. So do I. I want successful superhero movies because the more of those that we get, the better quality they'll be. The better, you know, the better it is for everybody, right? Stop wishing for stuff to fail or to flop, and stop acting like, we got to stop acting like we're all the geniuses that we think we are, and that we know more than everybody else. We know more than the studio. We know more than the director. We know more than the writer. We know more than these people. Go write your own movie. You tell me I got to write a movie to understand good writing? You got to understand writing. And I'm sorry, but I see a lot of people. Writing is like one of the number one things you notice that like people complain about, right? And they try to act like lighting, or not lighting. I just turned the light on. But they try to act like writing is a problem with every movie that they don't like, right? Well, the writing sucked. And most of the time, it's not the writing at all. The writing is fine. You know, it's just that people don't pay attention. You know how many times I've had people tell me that they hate a movie, and I say, well, how can you hate a movie? This and that happened in it. And they're like, when did that happen in it? It's like, how do you not know that this or that happened in it? It'd be like watching Star Wars sometimes, and like telling somebody like, yeah, man, when they blow up the Death Star, it's pretty cool. And they're like, blow up the Death Star. It's like people don't even watch whole movies. There's people doing reviews of movies that haven't even watched the movie. It's dumb. That's why you should watch things for yourself and pay attention. All right? And enjoy what you can. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for joining me. Like I always say, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell anybody that their fandom doesn't matter. Seek to have good conversations. If you do that, there'll always be a place for you all here in the Poindexter Lounge. All right, until next time, stay nerdy. Make sure to hit the like button on your way out if you could, please. That really helped me a lot, especially as we're trying to revamp things and amp things back up. And then also, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Come on, do it. Create a couple more accounts and subscribe with those too. Everybody who has an account, everybody who's on right now, I just need you to make 4 other accounts. No, I take that back. Go make 9 other accounts or so. And then just, get us over 100,000, right? Wouldn't that be cool to see Poindexter Lounge go over 100,000 subscribers this year or in the next year or so? That'd be really cool, actually. And I'm sure Tiftastic would not appreciate that at all. I, so so now I kind of want to make it a thing, right? Let's go for 100,000. All right, let's piss off the soon-to-be ex-wife and her whole thing. You know what? Now I got to get it. I realized, we were going to do that Babes in Toyland show for the longest time that Tiffany was going to do. Of course, like a lot of things, a lot of promises, not a lot of follow through. But yeah, so we've got a logo and everything for some wonderful female who would like to do a show about toys and female toy collecting and collecting. Maybe let me know. We got a logo, we got a show title and everything. It's called Babes in Toyland. It's great. I should get a hold of Wonder Meg, because Wonder Meg was going to do that with Tiffany every once in a while too. And I think Wonder Meg would just be better at it anyways. So, but yeah, I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for sticking with me. This has been the roughest year of my life. And I'm sure we'll get more into that as time goes by. But just know I'm very thankful for all of you. Max, I just saw you, man. I saw you pop up. Hey, by the way, Max, where are you? Weren't you supposed to come here? You and Rhea were supposed to come here, right? No, so but I'm very, very thankful for all of you and the love and the support. And, even though I wasn't streaming, all of you who kept up with like all the shows and stuff, I'm just messing with you, Max. But you know what I mean? Like all those things, that I had to put on pause and yeah, don't listen to anybody who tries to tell you that they know why Enosh backed away, or for a while, or why Enosh did this and that. You know what? And Enosh doesn't need anybody to tell him whether or not he should come back. I love all the people who keep commenting to me and telling me, Enosh, we want you back. We want that. I love. There's been a couple of people who are like, oh, you shouldn't even come back. Like, nobody cares. And yet people are still talking about me, which I think is funny. People still talk about Poindexter Lounge. It's funny when people send me links to stuff and they're just like, hey, this person's talking about it. Yeah, that person's talking about it. It's like, I haven't even been online in a year, That's how you know your opinion matters and you have a voice. And so I realize I have a voice in this community. And, I don't have these aspirations of being some big YouTuber, that some people have thought, or, anything like that. Hey, from the very beginning, when I started doing this was all just whatever happened. Like I didn't set out with some big thing to make a huge YouTube channel. It was literally just my screen name, like a lot of you guys, and I ended up having to change it because we had some success. But it wasn't anything like, oh, I've heard a couple people say, well, Enosh wanted to be a YouTuber, and that's really hard, and he wasn't able to do it, and so he stopped. No, that's not why. That's not why at all. You know, it was there was a bunch of complaining about stuff after the fact, and I tried to do what I thought was right because when you love somebody and people are complaining about things and you love somebody and you really care about their opinions, sometimes you even put too much weight into what they say about you, right? And when people are mad at you, they're going to say negative things about you. But it's discovering who you are, rediscovering who you are, because I know who I am. And it's hard, it's been hard to get back to that place. And I'm still fighting that, right? But like understanding who I am as opposed to who what's her name says I am, right? Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I need to know who I am, right? Exactly, Daniel. People are always going to have complaints. People are always going to have things to talk about and say and be negative and everything else. And some people just join bandwagons, right? I just want to talk about fun stuff that I love. That's all I ever wanted. Am I opinionated? Absolutely. Most of you are too. The only difference is a lot is some of you don't have a YouTube channel, and you're not in front of a camera. And I have some of my friends who even are do have YouTube channels. They're not even in front of a camera, right? I try to be transparent. I want you guys to see me. And when I say that, not see me like look at me. I mean see me for who I am. I'm just a guy who loves nerd stuff. Why? What happened? What happened where we take the nerd stuff so seriously that now we attack other people and we treat other people like garbage because they like a different version of Superman than I do? Or that's not my Luke Skywalker, and how dare you even like that? And then it's just a bunch of bad faith arguments, about Star Wars, about Superman, about DC, about James Gunn, about Zack Snyder even. Like, it's all these bad faith arguments that people don't really want the truth, and they don't really want to talk about the truth, right? They want the gotcha moment. They want the people who hate Zack Snyder. They want to be able to insult Zack Snyder and insult all of his fans and insult anybody who likes his movies, insult his movies, insult it all, and they'll like literally come up with stuff that doesn't even make any sense, but just mock stuff, just to mock stuff, the laughing emojis and all this stuff, right? And then Zack Snyder fans go, "This is so unfair, and this is wrong way to treat," and then they go around and they do the exact same thing to James Gunn. No. If that's what your fandom is about, you can keep it. Okay? I reserve my own judgment on what fandoms I am a part of. And you know what? I feel that a fandom that I was a part of, I'm still there, but a lot of people got up and they acted like they were taking the fandom with them, but they didn't. They just created something else. And unfortunately, they created something very, very toxic. Very toxic. and it's on all sides of it. And we really need to stop it. We really need to stop. I mean, Joker said it best in Dark Knight. Why so serious? Why so darn serious that you just got to hate on everything and everybody that doesn't like what you like, no matter what it is? You know, politically, people are doing it nowadays. People finding, things that they love or hate politically in a movie and acting like, this is the end all be all or whatever. It's just too much. It really is. It's over the top. So, whoops. All right, that's probably my cue that I should go. I love you all. And yeah, Mwamba, dude, I'm right there. I am right there with you. I'm so ready to like unfollow like a bunch of the groups that I've been a part of for years, which is really disconcerting, right? Because I have loved being a part of that. I've loved being a Snyder fan. I loved fighting for the Snyder Cut. I loved restore the Snyderverse, for God's sake, guys. For what was it, over a year and a half? In every one of my thumbnails, I put hashtag restore the Snyderverse because I believed in it. But now it's synonymous with people who don't treat others well at all. And I think it is because hurting people hurt people, and I think that people have been hurt over the Zack Snyder stuff, and now they're just lashing out. But they're lashing out at anybody and everybody. Like, it's not focused. It's not about truth. It's not about facts. It's not about anything. It's just about getting a cheap laugh and at the expense of somebody else and treating somebody else poorly. And that's not cool. It's just not cool. It's not right. So let's do better. Let's do better. All right, let's do better together. Can we do that? I love y'all. I do got to go. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for the last hour. All right, I hope that y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see you soon.